History usually begins with a classroom, a teacher, a map, a simple explanation. They point to a small city called Sarajevo and tell us that 2 bullets changed the world, that an assassination triggered a tragic chain reaction of alliances, misunderstandings, and bad luck. It feels clean. It feels manageable. It feels safe. But history is rarely safe, because assassinations don't destroy empires. They don't redraw continents. They don't kill tens of millions of people. Something far colder does. Something far quieter.
If you peel back the surface of that story, the map begins to crack. Beneath the dates and names, you find gears turning, coins moving, contracts signed in shadows. Wars are not started by anger. They are started by fear. Fear of losing power. Fear of losing control. Fear of losing the system that keeps wealth flowing in one direction. And at the dawn of the 20th century, the greatest system of control the world had ever known belonged to one empire.
Britain did not rule the world with armies alone. It ruled with oceans. Red lines stretched across maps like veins, carrying goods, gold, and authority back to London. British ships didn't just transport trade, they decided who was allowed to trade at all. From Africa to Asia, from the Americas to the Middle East, the message was clear. If it moves by sea, Britain controls it. This was not just dominance, it was dependency.
And at the center of this global machine sat a narrow strip of water, the Suez Canal. A shortcut on the map, a stranglehold in reality. Through Suez flowed the lifeblood of the empire, ships bound for India, Asia, and beyond. Every vessel that passed through sailed under British guns. As long as the world depended on sea routes, Britain remained untouchable. But power always creates resistance, and far to the north, a new force was rising. Germany was young, hungry, industrial. Its factories burned brighter than Britain's. Its engineers built faster. Its science raced ahead of the old empires. Steel, chemicals, railways. Germany was forging the future. But there was one problem. Germany had no empire, no colonies, no secure access to raw materials, and no navy capable of protecting global trade. Germany was a giant trapped inside a system built by its rival.
British ships encircled the seas like walls of iron. In any crisis, Britain could simply close the oceans and Germany would starve. No oil, no rubber, no food. German leaders understood this reality with terrifying clarity. If Germany remained dependent on the sea, it would always remain vulnerable. So they searched for a way to escape the ocean entirely.
Their answer lay to the southeast, the Ottoman Empire. Once magnificent, now crumbling. Its palaces were fading, its army outdated, its territory shrinking year by year. European newspapers mocked it as the sick man of Europe. But beneath the decay lay something priceless: geography.
The Ottomans were not just weak, they were owned. After bankruptcy, European bankers stepped in, not to help, but to harvest. Taxes were seized before reaching Istanbul. Entire industries were mortgaged to London and Paris. The empire still existed on paper, but its finances were no longer its own. Sultan Abdul Hamid II knew the truth. Without modernization, the empire would be carved apart. But if Britain or France modernized it, the knife would only cut deeper. He needed a partner with no colonies and no interest in the sea.
Germany stepped forward, and together they imagined something radical. Not a fleet, not a colony, but a line of steel. A railway stretching from Berlin to Baghdad. A land bridge connecting Europe to the Middle East. beyond British ships, beyond British guns. It wasn't just transportation, it was liberation.
Construction began. Mountains were drilled open. Deserts were crossed. Steel rails pushed forward mile by mile. German engineers brought precision. Ottoman workers brought endurance. Every track laid was a quiet rebellion against the sea empire. This railway promised speed, unity, and independence. And in London, alarms began to ring.
British strategists stared at maps in disbelief. A completed railway meant German influence reaching the Persian Gulf. It meant pressure on India, on Egypt, on Suez. But beneath all the fear was one word: oil.
The future of war no longer ran on coal, it ran on oil. And beneath the sands of Mesopotamia lay vast reserves, untouched, unguarded, priceless. If Germany reached them by rail, Britain's naval advantage would evaporate. This was not competition, this was extinction.
Britain did not attack with soldiers. It attacked with paperwork. Secret agreements blocked ports, loans were denied, insurance vanished. Diplomats smiled, while knives slid quietly into maps. The railway was strangled not by bombs, but by signatures. Still, Germany pushed forward. By 1914, the railway was almost complete. Only mountains stood in the way. Storm clouds gathered, not just in the sky, but across Europe. The clock was running out. When war came, it felt sudden, but it wasn't. The alliances snapped into place exactly as they were meant to. Germany was surrounded, the Ottomans were pulled in, and Britain's eyes turned east. The Middle East was not a sideshow, it was the prize.
The Ottomans gambled everything. They believed the railway would save them, moving troops, weapons, and hope faster than ships ever could. But the line was incomplete. Steel ended where mountains began, and war does not wait. Supplies stalled, men walked where trains should have rolled. Camels replaced engines, time replaced steel. What was meant to be strength became vulnerability. Britain exploited every weakness. British troops landed in Basra under the banner of protection, but their true mission was oil. Field by field, pipeline by pipeline, they secured the fuel of the future before Germany could reach it. Baghdad fell, Jerusalem followed. The railway could not save the empire. Behind closed doors, the war ended before it was over. Straight lines were drawn across ancient lands, borders designed for control, not peace. They followed oil, they followed the railway. Nations were divided like assets. Arabs were promised freedom. They rose in revolt, sabotaging the very railway meant to unite them. When the war ended, the promises vanished. New masters arrived. Only the chains changed hands.
The Ottoman Empire collapsed. Its railways rusted. Its palaces emptied. Its lands fractured. What remained was not independence, but management. Britain didn't want unity. It wanted extraction. Pipelines replaced railways. Oil flowed west. Development did not. The land was connected only to be drained. Decades later, the pattern returned. Germany once again sought oil. Britain once again intervened. Different war, same corridors, same fear. Today, the map looks familiar. China builds land routes. The Sea Empire watches nervously. The names have changed. The strategy has not. The Middle East was not broken by ancient hatred. It was broken to stop a train. The tracks rusted. The borders hardened. The consequences remain. The train never arrived. but the world is still living with the wreckage.